Dear students, welcome to English Tutorials. I am Professor Hardik Thakkar of English Department at St. Xavier's College, Ahmedabad. In this video, I am going to show you how the human voice is produced through the speech organs. You know already that breathing is important for us to live and to survive. We can live for days without food and water, but not without breathing. This breathing is also the soul of our speech, our voice. The sole existence of voice is breathing. Students, in this video, you are going to get a brief intro of some important components of voice production. Since a detailed part of the speech mechanism you have already studied in your previous semester. So let us understand the voice anatomy in reference to voice production. When you inhale, the diaphragm contracts, causing the lungs to expand, and the air is drawn in the lungs. But when you exhale, the diaphragm will relax and move upward, reducing the size of the lungs and causing air to be expelled from the lungs. This exhaled breath is then forced out along the vocal folds or vocal cords, vibrating the trachea and through the vocal folds, which are capable of vibrating at an incredibly fast rate. For voice to exist at all, the vocal folds must vibrate, and it is at this point that the vibration of the vocal folds combined with the power of the exhaling breath gives rise to the creation of the vocal sound. Remember, this is just sound and not speech or human voice. Speech creation is the next process. Speech is the final product of this sound generating process. Therefore, spoken word, as you know, is the result of the three components of voice production. First, voiced sound. Second, resonance. Third, articulation. In order to create speech, this sound is then shaped by the manipulation of the various structures along the vocal tract, such as the position of the tongue and the larynx, etc. The articulators are the cheeks, tongue, teeth, and lips, and they all contribute to vocal articulation, whereas the sinus, chest, laryngeal, and pharyngeal cavities all act as resonating chambers for the voice. It is through the repetition of exercises for a long time, designed specifically to strengthen the larynx and the diaphragm, that the voice is trained. Then a speaker or an announcer can control the muscles in the diaphragm and the vocal tract, which results in the increased quality of vocal tone and more power of vocal projection. The vocal cords. Students, you know that sound occurs as a result of vibration in the vocal cords. This is true throughout all of the nature and is evident in a myriad of different forms. The human voice is no exception. We have all heard of the term vocal cords. Recent findings, however, describe them as vocal folds due to its ligament-like structure. The vocal folds attach to the front of the larynx at the Adam's apple or thyroid cartilage and at the rear of the larynx. Here the folds can come together and move apart, allowing for breathing and sound production. Larynx. The primary function of the larynx is to protect the airways and stop food entering into the lungs. The larynx itself is protected in the neck by an increase in muscle, cartilage, and bone. The provision of sound is a secondary function of vocal folds. The vocal and vestibular folds close during the acts of swallowing, coughing, excreting, giving birth, and when pushing or lifting heavy objects, etc. This closing is called constriction. As we can see here, the larynx vocal folds are suspended over the open space of the trachea, where they act as a sort of portal through which all the air that comes into and goes out from the body must pass. The pharynx. The pharynx is a 5-inch long tube that starts near our nose and ends at the windpipe. The pharynx is generally considered a part of the throat. It is an interesting fact that the pharynx also plays a role in projecting speech. Sound is made possible by the passage of vibration through air. The pharynx provides a nice enclosed space that will allow speech muscles to initiate sound and resonate it so that it projects even better. The diaphragm and the lungs. Dear students, as I have already mentioned, that the breath is the soul to our voice. It is the fundamental workings of the voice. Without breath, there would be nothing to power the voice. Even the vibration of the vocal fold cannot do anything alone. In other words, the voice cannot exist without the breath. Now, what is a diaphragm? According to Google, diaphragm is a trampoline-like dome-shaped muscle stretched across the abdominal cavity, separating the organs of the chest cavity from those in the lower abdominal cavity. The movement of this muscle allows the lungs to expand and contract during the process of breathing. You may have heard the phrase singing from the diaphragm. It means that by expanding the abdomen during inhalation, increasing the rate of contraction in the diaphragm and taking more air into the lungs, and as a result, a speaker or any singer can perform with more power through increased breath support and control through strengthening of diaphragm muscles. The sinus cavities. Sinus cavities are found within the bone structures of the face, where they work as acoustic resonating chambers. They help in adding higher frequencies and increasing the brightness and vitality of the sound. In other words, these cavities are spaces inside the skull which serves various purposes like airflow, drainage, etc. Another, which is the most important purpose of these cavities, is to act as a resonators for the voice. Students, if you desire to be an announcer and want to make your career in media, be it radio or TV or any other one, then it is customary to have a basic knowledge about the voice production and voice anatomy. However, if you don't have knowledge about this, still you can make your career. But when it comes to train your voice and make it powerful, this knowledge directly or indirectly help you to improve it. So thank you students for listening to me. I hope this video has helped you in some way. Don't forget to write your comments in the comment box below.